The fighting in El Suwayda, the Druze town in Syria, is intensifying. Right now we have tanks in the streets. The government regime with its entire forces backing up the jihadists as they're going house to house, plundering, burning, killing people. This attack started this morning after last night's ceasefire, classical Muslim Hudna, and they've just raided the Druze town of El Suwayda. Now, where is Israel? Why isn't Israel sending fighter jets to take down these easy targets? These guys have no tactics. They're fighting like zombie jihadists. I call them Muslombies, just running in the streets. Literally one of the easiest targets for a professional trained military. Very easy for Israel to intercept. And while everybody's asking, Bibi Netanyahu, Mr. Katz, where is your promise? You promised to stand with the Druze in Syria. You made that promise to the Druze in Israel, to the Jews in Israel, to the Druze in Syria. Hands off the Druze, as you told Jolani before. But right now we're seeing the full strength of the Syrian government is raiding Al Suwayda, the Druze city in Syria, and nothing is happening and nothing is going on to stop it. Dozens of tanks rolling in the streets, destroying their monuments, destroying their holy places, burning their shops, looting. I have family members who are living there, elderly people that had to flee to nearby villages, and they're afraid right now that they might not make it to these villages around, and if they make it there, when everything is done, what is going to be remaining of their town when they go back? The rumors in the streets in Syria are saying that the Druze and the Christians and the minorities in Syria have been sold for the altar of making peace with the terrorists. That America and Saudi Arabia is coming to Israel and telling them, don't intervene, let Jolani finish the job. The Druze is a small minority. It's a price that we can pay for the hope that the Syrians will join the Abraham Accord. Now let me ask you questions. Look at these videos. This is the government. Do you really think that these kind of people will be a partner in the Abrahamic Accord? Do you think that once they're done with the Druze and they're done with the Christian and done with the Alawites, they're not going to come after the Jews? Do you think that these are partners and allies for the United States of America, for Europe? Or is it just part of the grand plan to make planet Earth Muslim under the Sunnah? And that's why Saudi Arabia, with a lot of money, and other very rich Arab countries are pushing, keep Israel from intervening. Because let's face it, Israel can probably destroy the Jolani Syrian army in a few days. Or can probably kill Jolani in a matter of, from the moment they give the command until he's dead, I will say it could be seconds up to half a day max. He have no way of evading Israel and the Mossad. Literally no way. At the craziest scenario, maybe 1 week if you really want to make it cleverly planned. So the Syrian regime is not a challenge for Israel. Now, would Israel want to topple that regime, and who's going to come next? That's a different story, because as we're seeing, most Muslim countries, the moment you take one leader, it just becomes worse. Hence is what we're seeing right now. Hence is why it's another reminder, why are we trying to appease them? Why are we selling the Druze and the Christians and the Alawites in Syria just for the hope to have some kind of an agreement with a terrorist? The actions of the Syrian military government is a terrorist behavior. Now let me explain that. They are right now backing up jihadists that having stickers of Al-Qaeda, of Daesh, ISIS, all these guys. So the jihadists are running into a Druze village to go and kill the men and kidnap their women. And what is the government going behind them to support them, helping them breach into the city? And meanwhile, only demanding from the minorities who are trying to defend their home to surrender their weapons, and if they don't, they call them terrorists. Do we need any other proof or fact to show us that Jolani is a terrorist and his government is a terrorist regime that kidnapped a country? This is not the first time that Muslims have done that. Hence Iran, hence Gaza, hence Lebanon with Hezbollah, and etc. and etc. Often radical jihadists will kidnap a country, and then they'll put a suit and they'll come to the West and tell them, give us money and we'll take care of peace. And then the West gives them money, and what do they do with the money? They buy more weapons to go and kill more people. Usually they start with their own civilians and then they go to other countries, meanwhile killing their own civilians. Hence, best example, Palestine. From what we know so far, the Druze are still trying to defend their homeland. They're trying to defend their mountain. They're fighting. There is factions of Druze that came to the realization that Israel might have abandoned them and that there's no hope, and they rather surrender and maybe stay alive, and they started to give their weapons. And that was what broke the defense over Suwayda and allowed Al Jolani and their forces to actually enter, because they were strongly holding them until The Druze fighters have not seen a single jet in the sky. They're just seeing hordes of Muslims coming at them with tanks, with artillery, with drones, by the way, that got bought to them apparently by Qatar, sponsoring them with all kind of means to kill their own citizens. And now the Druze, outnumbered, a portion of them decided to surrender and try to give away their weapons. We've seen some videos of them being humiliated, carried on trucks, murdered, beard shaved, and etc. and etc. We don't know what's going to be their fate. We pray that they will be safe. And then other factions among the Druze have decided we're not going to surrender. The people of Al-Hijri, that's the sheikh that is leading this resistance and basically kind of became like the leader of the Druze resistance in Syria. They are still standing and fighting. Some of them are pulling back to strategic positions because the city has been compromised. You can see in the videos behind me, they're just walking, destroying, burning, looting, killing. And the big question remains, where is Israel? Now, here is why my theory that Israel might be having her hands tied by America and by Saudi Arabia, because from every response that Israel have done so far, it was the minimal of response, and it always came after the fighting. I have that report from people in Syria that told me they were on the front line fighting, and they said only after we lost the fight or we had to disengage and they took over the city, only then Israel will shoot a missile at one tank or outside in an open field and scare them. And every time that Israel did that, it actually worked. They got scared, they fell on the ground, they stopped fighting for a while, they started looking in the sky. But every time when they saw that they didn't follow up with a real attack, they called it a bluff, and that just encouraged them to continue. And as you can see, they came probing the water. Small attack, Israel didn't do anything. Bigger attack, nothing yet. Bigger attack, fighter just in the sky. Oh my God, Allahu Akbar, start running. Nothing happened. Bigger attack, kidnapping women and children. Boom. A rocket in the field. Running away, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. The Druze go, retrieve their relatives, and then again, nothing happened. Bigger attack, and bigger attack. And they've been literally testing the water. We've seen that tactic with Hamas over the fence with Israel. They keep testing the water. What are we waiting for? These are clear enemies of Israel. And right now they have Grad missiles, tanks, artillery very close to Israel. What do you think is going to happen next? Take it now. Use the opportunity. These guys should not have a single weapon. There is people on the face of this planet that I can say with the hand of my heart, they're better off with nothing that they can kill with, even rocks and sticks. Jihadists, radical Muslims, you don't want them to have a single weapon. So the fastest you disarm them, the better. And what better opportunity right now than to eliminate all these jihadists? You're just gonna do a service for the future, for humanity, and for the safety of Israel, the Druze, and the Christians, and the Alawites. It's good to breathe when you're talking. So here is my point. Where is the Israeli response? Is it coming? Why is it not coming? And is it true that this is the classic story of minorities in the Middle East being sold for profit? Maybe because someone won a wave Nobel Prize for peace? I don't know. We've seen that happen with Iran lately. Everybody was hoping for the toppling of the regime and that the people of Iran will finally be free, only to be called a ceasefire. Get out of there. Stop fighting. That evil regime might fall down and the people of Iran might finally have peace. And we might actually finally get rid of a bunch of lunatics that want to nuke planet Earth and kill us all alive. Burn entire planet Earth and go send us back to the times of the dinosaurs. Oh, we don't want that to happen. Stop, ceasefire, guys. Someone wants a Nobel Prize. Well, I don't know. Someone doesn't want to piss off the Arab money. How deep does Arab money go into Western pockets? How deep? It's a very big question. We can't ignore that. We can't ignore that. Because I'm telling you, it doesn't stop with Israel. It doesn't stop with the Druze. It's going to come at you. Evil is evil. It doesn't matter which shape, which form, which costume is it wearing today. So I'm going to do my best to keep you updated about what's happening with the Druze. On a personal note, I have a relative of mine who got shot in the leg. A distant relative of mine, a man in his 40s, got killed defending the Druze community there. I don't know them personally. I just started to talk to several of them lately with the events that are happening. You know, the Druze got separated during the wars in the Middle East, and some ended up in Syria, Lebanon, and Israel. And when the borders came, a lot of families lost touch with each other. But now we're connecting to one another with everything that is happening, especially since the fall of the Assad regime. It became safer for people to start talking and speaking. We thought it became safer. But the radical stayed radical, evil stayed the same evil, and they're taking names, and now they're going looking for all these people that they can kill just because they're not Muslims. Stay safe, don't do anything stupid, and in general, stop supporting radical jihadists just because they wear a suit.